Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Wednesday, the 22nd of May. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. In the news today, we'll be covering off on some rugby news as well as the A-League result from last night. We'll look at the NBA that's in its first round of the playoffs, as well as the NBL in the basketball. And finally, we'll be talking about squash action as well. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And let's kick off with that squash action. And Paul Cole, the Kiwi taking part in the PSA El Guna International over in Egypt, came through his quarterfinal against the fifth seed Kareem Abdel Gawad with a great comeback. He lost the first set 2-11, but then won the next three 11-8, 11-4, 11-2 to win in 53 minutes, taking him through to the semi-finals that will be on Friday morning New Zealand time. So Paul Cole going well in that tournament over there in Egypt. After that, he'll be heading off to Manchester, where there'll be the next PSA tournament that he'll be taking part in. Moving on then to the NBL, and over in Australia, we had one game yesterday as the Breakers took on the 36ers. And it was tight in the first quarter. The Breakers taking just a 3-point lead, but just before halftime, in the second quarter before halftime, the Breakers really put the foot down, winning that quarter 29-18 to take a big lead that they weren't going to give up, winning the game at 94-76 in that one. It really was their three-pointers where they totally outshot the 36ers, scoring 48% of those compared to 26% from the 36ers. For the Breakers, Corey Webster came off the bench to score 22 points and lead the team to that win, getting support from Randolph with 17 points, Iverson with 14, and Delaney with 14 points there in that effort. Sticking with basketball and heading over to the NBA, where I say win the first round of the finals. The Bucks took a commanding win, beating the Heat 132-98 to take a 2-0 lead in their series. The Nuggets are playing the Trailblazers as well, and they tied the series 1-1 with 128-109 win there. So that's looking like a tight one between the Nuggets and the Trailblazers in the opening round. Moving on then to the A-League, and in the football, a surprise result last night as Brisbane Roar beat Melbourne City 3-0. Melbourne City, the runaway leaders at the top of the table. That moves Brisbane Roar up into fourth place on 37 points, only 1 point ahead of both Central Coast and Macarthur FC behind them. So very tight in that playoff picture at the moment. Perth Glory and Wellington Phoenix both looking to climb up into those, but it's looking time is running out on them. Do join us at 9 p.m. this evening when the Wellington Phoenix will be taking on Western Sydney Wanderers, and the Knicks newsletter will be having a watch-along show this evening. So do join them at 9 p.m. For that, where they'll be watching the game and discussing it live for you here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Talking of shows this evening, and we've also got the standoff show at 8 p.m. When the boys will review the last round of NRL action and look forward to this weekend's round of games as well. Look forward to week 12 of the NRL. So do join the boys this evening as the Warriors announce a settled side heading into this weekend. In the rugby and there's news that there are discussions ongoing between Japan, Australia, and New Zealand around having a cross-tournament or cross-border tournament. Probably something along the lines of a European Champions Cup style thing, where we have the Super Rugby and the Top League happen, and then after that event, have a truncated cross-border competition is expected to go ahead. This is not looking to be part of the World Club Championship, which could be taking place from 2023. So this could happen from next year. Remember that the top league over in Japan is moving into a fully professional mode from next season. And finally, in response to the also in the rugby, the suspension of the travel bubble with Melbourne is potentially causing a problem for the Rebels. The 72-hour suspension could be a problem for them as they travelled back from Wellington to Melbourne and then are flying out to play the Highlanders in Queenstown. Is the plan for this weekend on Sunday. Luckily, it is the last game of the round, so hopefully the travel bubble is reinstated so they can get to that game. There is a reaction to to Belarus's action of forcing a Ryanair jet to land in Belarus, so they could arrest a journalist from that airplane that was flying over their airspace, but was not planning to land in Belarus. In reaction, this action has been condemned by the EU and already has seen Belarus lose the co-hosting of the Ice Hockey's World Championships this month, and that will now be hosted purely in Latvia. Also, Germany has withdrawn from the European track championships that are due to take place in Minsk because of this, and there are calls for that track championships to be moved. So sport responding to that action by Belarus. There we'll see how that changes the other sporting events. Just quickly on cycling, and the Giro d'Italia is having a rest day today. We'll be following the last week of action. Egan Bernal of Ineos Grenadiers leading the general classification in that one, and the hot favourite to win the race. This has been your day. This has been the morning sports briefing. This is your best way to start the day with all the important sports news. Don't forget to join us this evening, as I said, on the Sun Off Show at 8 p.m. and the Knicks newsletter at 9 p.m.